Pathmonk is the intelligent tool for website lead generation. With increasing online competition, over 98% of website visitors don't convert. The ability to successfully show your value proposition and support visitors in their buying journey separates you from the competition online. Pathmonk qualifies and converts leads on your website by figuring out where they are in the buying journey and influencing them with key decision moments with relevant micro experiences such as case studies, intro videos, and much more. Stay relevant to your visitors and increase conversions by 50%. Add Pathmonk to your website in seconds, let the artificial intelligence do all the work, get access to 50% more qualified leads when you keep doing marketing and sell as usual. Check us out on pathmonk.com. On today's episode of Pathmonk Presents, I've got a very special guest with me joining today. Please welcome Daniela, who is the Vice President of Marketing at FONOLO. So, for all of you who don't know, they are the leading provider of cloud-based callback solutions for their contact center. The company's innovative products improve the way call centers interact with their customers by seamlessly replacing hold time with a callback. Daniela, thank you so much for joining us today. It's an honor to have you on our show.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for the warm welcome.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a pleasure to have you here. So for all of our listeners out there, tell us, what does your company do overall? Who are your clients, and where your clients come from as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So you sort of said it in the intro there, but I'll sort of elaborate. FONOLO is a cloud-based callback product. And basically what that means in layman's terms, if you're calling into a call center, whether that be, at your bank or at a telecom company or cable company, sometimes you're put on hold. It happens often, and it's often a point of frustration for customers. Oftentimes people end up hanging up, which costs the call center money. Oftentimes they run to social media and they complain about long hold times, etc. Airlines are notorious for this. And so what FONOLO developed was a patented cloud-based callback solution that can work with any call center. So it's technology agnostic. It doesn't matter what your call center is using. It could be up and running in a matter of days. And it's incredibly inexpensive compared to some of the other larger on-prem solutions in the marketplace. So we were the pioneer on the cloud-based front, which something we're very proud of. We actually started with callbacks on the web. So if you were going to someone's website or their mobile app, you can request a callback from a live agent from a digital platform. And then we moved into voice callbacks, which is really our flagship or bread and butter of the organization, I should say. So that's sort of in layman's terms what the product is. And obviously it delves deeper into features and, SMS notifications and being able to schedule callbacks and that sort of things. In terms of our clients, so obviously they're call centers, but they can be from a realm of different industries. Typically, what we tend to see are clients in finance, clients in insurance, retail, healthcare, and travel. Those would be sort of the bigger ones that we would see. And really the ideal customer profile for us is someone managing or running a call center, manager level or above. Usually it's higher than manager level, that have 500,000 or more in call volume in a year. And usually they're valued around $30 million. So that's our ideal scenario. We've seen bigger, we've seen smaller. We can work with any size, but those are really the ones that see a ton of value in the product. And your last question was on how they find us. So there's three different ways typically a call center will come across FONOLO. Either they're actively searching for a solution to their problems, and their problems are typically, I have spikes in call volume. I can't staff up because I'm getting these high amounts of call volume, and then they're really low, and my workforce management is off pace, or it's high abandonment rates, which cost the company telco dollars. Sometimes it's just improving the customer experience. They have service level agreements that they have to meet. So there's a slew of KPIs I could run through, but those are sort of the bigger ones that call centers are focusing on. And so if they're searching for a problem or a solution to that problem, they will 100% find FONOLO on search. We've been writing content for the market for the last decade and are well known for our thought leadership and our industry content. So they will certainly run across FONOLO that way. Other ways could be through ads, ads on LinkedIn or through other publishing sites. And the third is sort of those live in-person events. So trade shows such as Call Center Week or ICMI does one twice a year. We do all the bigger shows along with some of the smaller industry shows. So we find a lot of our customers that way as well.
Well, it's incredible. You guys got a very wide range of how you find your clients, and especially, as you were saying, with being thought leaders as well. I looked through your website. You guys have a lot of really great content as well. So it's incredible that, you guys are the key players in what you're doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Now we're going to switch gears and we're going to talk about the website. So what would you say are the major strengths of the company's website? And then what are there opportunities for room for improvement as well?
Yeah. So the website, obviously your website is a key component of your marketing strategy. It is the component, if I should say so myself. It is so important. It's how we convert our leads. It's how we showcase the brand. It's how we communicate our value proposition. And you really have to put yourself in the shoes of the buyer and what the buyer would want when they land on your website. So finding relevant content and icons and imagery and even color, all those things come into play when you're talking about your target audience. I would say for us, we're constantly, again, trying to put ourselves in the shoes of the buyer. What are they looking for when they land on our site? Which pages are really those glory pages for us, where we want to say specific things that speak to what it is they might be looking for? And being able to navigate the site really well is also very important. So I think one thing that we could continuously improve on is the navigation side. It's how we're showcasing our main navigation, how people are discovering all the great content we have on the site in a very easy and intuitive way. That is something we continue to talk about in marketing. We have website meetings bi-weekly, and it's always a topic that we bring up. Is our nav displaying the right items? Are items being displayed in the right order? Are we saying the right words? And it's something that you can A/B test fairly easy. So I definitely think navigation is something that we will continue to improve and all organizations should focus on. One area that we did just launch is our chatbot. So obviously forms are very important for anyone in growth marketing, anyone looking to capture demand creation. A form is important, but a form is also a major point of friction. And so it's something marketers really have to keep in mind today, because you might be losing your lead at the point of the form, and they're not able to capture that content and see all your great thought leadership. So we decided to implement a chatbot, and it's been incredibly successful. It's only been out for 2 weeks. We've already booked meetings just from people discussing things on our chatbot. And I just think it eliminates that point of friction. And, the meetings that we've booked, we may not have otherwise received, at least at this point in the buying journey for that buyer. So I definitely think all organizations should be looking at chatbots. If you have marketing automation in place, you probably have chat within your marketing automation tool. We use HubSpot internally for ours. So, yeah.
Well, and that's great too, especially how you guys already integrated that and you're already seeing like the massive.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. Yeah. It's been amazing. It was a lot of setup, because you have to think about all those different journeys and what people would want on specific pages. The chatbot isn't available on every single page on our site. It's just the pages that make sense. So there was a lot of thought that went into. Our growth marketer really put a lot of work into that, but it's proving to be valuable so far. So it's good.
Yeah, it is. Especially too, right when I went to the page, I could see like, already popping up and, giving me like the main options. Like, I like a demo, I'm just browsing, or exploring Callback solutions, where it gets to the point too, which I think that's really great as well, where it's like, we know where you're here for. Let's help you take it a step further to get you where
Exactly. And that also speaks back to my navigation point. Well, how can we help you find what you're looking for, right? We just want people to get to what they want as quickly as possible and to stay on our site for as long as possible.
Yeah.
So having all those interconnections within the site, the pages that should be speaking to each other are speaking to each other. That's really important. So yeah, the chatbot is certainly helping with that.
That's awesome. So now we're going to talk about you as a leader. So with being the VP of marketing and with, all years of experience. So what does an average day look like for you? What do you do? What do you manage? And give us an insight as well.
Yeah. So I manage a team. There's a variety of direct and indirect reports. So anywhere between, let's say, 6 and 10, depending on where they fall. And really every morning our team starts with a department meeting. So that was something that we actually learned during COVID when we all became remote employees, that having a daily department meeting was really important. So we do a 30-minute sort of roundup of what projects are we working on, what campaigns are we running, what needs attention right away, how should we reprioritize our day. And I think it really sets up all of our marketers for the day that they have ahead, so that they know what's priority. We're all aligned. We're all working towards the same goal. So, a lot of the times it's helping to manage my direct reports, helping to, move projects along so that we're getting our goals and meeting our KPIs as necessary. That's really the sort of a high level, without getting into the granular items of what I do on a day-to-day. Our team encompasses, so from a direct report standpoint, so taking out the indirect, our team is a group of really content marketers, designers, growth marketer. We have a developer on staff. And so those are the ones that tend to meet on a regular basis to talk about our campaigns and what we're doing for growth. That's all. Our main focus is always looking at, well, how are we going to increase demand generation, demand creation for the products that we're working on?
Yeah, definitely. Especially because, your products are very like niche focused, where it's like, how can we always be at the top? How can we always be constantly optimizing and be valuable to, potential consumers, but also to our current clients as well.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
All right. So we're getting close to the end of our interview, and I'm going to ask you some rapid fire questions. Are you ready?
Oh, okay. Yes. Fire away.
Cool. So with all the overwhelming amount of content out there for marketers, where do you go to learn, grow, and keep up to date with everything?
Yeah. So my main go-to is podcasts, actually. I love listening to podcasts. And I think because I can listen to a podcast while I'm running. I can listen while I am tidying up my house. I can listen while I'm putting on a load of laundry. I love the ability to multitask. So having just audio, 30 minutes, tell me about something that I should be thinking about in terms of what's new in marketing. That's often how I get some of my newer ideas. It's just listening to podcasts. And I usually focus on B2B marketing podcasts. That's usually where I lean on. And then there's a slew of tools out there. I definitely think LinkedIn Learning has some good courses that you can look at. If you're a HubSpot shop, they have incredible courses that you can look at. Pathmonk should be a place you go to look at content and learn and grow. I think it can be overwhelming for marketers right now because you don't know where to start. So looking at, how many people are subscribed to that podcast, that might give you an indication on how popular it is and if it's going to work for you. I also have a podcast that has very little subscribers, but it's two women in marketing tech talking about the ins and outs of their jobs, and it's B2B, and it resonates with me. So it doesn't always have to be large subscribers. Listen to a few and see what sits with you and what resonates with you. But I definitely think that's my go-to is podcasts right now.
No, like I care, especially, it's very snackable. You could do it on the go.
Exactly.
Like if it's within like, how, with life and just daily things, like totally.
Absolutely. And I often have my phone when I'm listening to a podcast, and I'll have an email up and ready to go because there'll be some quick notes I want to just write and jot down. So there's always a takeaway from these podcasts I listen to. So yeah, they're really great. And I love your snackable term. That's perfect. That's exactly what they are.
Yeah, absolutely. And now my next question, if there were no boundaries in technology, what would be the one thing you'd want to have fixed in your role today as a marketer?
If there was no boundaries in technology,
yes,
what would be the one thing I would want fixed? That is such a hard question. I love the role that, I don't know how this helps with the answer, but I love the role that AI is playing right now in marketing. I think that's going to be a hot topic. It is a hot topic. It's going to be interesting to see how AI evolves. And certainly it feels as though there are no boundaries when it comes to AI and content. Like I've used ChatGPT a bunch, and it really does help with productivity and creativity, and I love the content side of it. I'm stumped. I can't think of anything specific that I would say here. I'm sorry, but the first thing that came to mind was we need to talk about AI. So yeah, I don't know anything specific that I could suggest here. So but stumped on that one.
It's all good. I think it's great that, with the role that AI is playing, especially too within marketing and also creative industries as well, where there's also the discussion of where people are very terrified, like, oh, is AI going to take away my job? Where like, at least I think AI is there to help you with your job, as you were saying, like to be more productive. Like AI can only do so much, but you still need that human collaboration to be able to tell the AI what to do.
100%. It is nothing. You need a human. I don't see this taking over jobs yet. I don't know how it will evolve. The things it does now is wild. It's mind-blowing. But, HubSpot just launched in their email tools, so you can highlight a piece of content if you're about to send an email, and it'll tell you basically how to rephrase that content based on different tones that you're looking for. So you need the content to start with, and that requires a human. So, it absolutely is not replacing humans, but I do love what it can do.
Yeah, likewise. So we're at the end of our interview today, and I want to thank you so much for joining us on the podcast.
Thank you.
But I
Thank
also,
you. That was fun.
oh, thank you. Yeah. But I also want to give you the last word as well. If anyone were to forget about everything we've talked about in our interview today, what is the one thing you want them to remember about your company and what you guys do overall?
The one thing to remember about our organization, I think it's really hard to showcase this, but one thing that we pride ourselves on is customer service. And I think it's because we speak to the customer service reps and we speak to people in call centers. And so it's hard to showcase how FONOLO is, although it's very easy to showcase how our technology is different. It's hard to showcase how our service is different because you don't know it until you experience it. So I would say if there's any call center out there looking for a callback solution who isn't happy, that we're a company to look at for sure, especially from the service side. We have companies that just rave about, they wish every other vendor was as intuitive, as responsive. We usually catch errors before the call center even catches the errors. So I think that's something I want to leave as a takeaway for people that are in the market. And I think a takeaway for marketers, if I could just inject that in there as well, if you're new in the marketplace or if you're new in your career, is to make sure that you're not afraid to be a generalist. I think that was one thing that I learned when I started my career. I didn't love the idea that I knew a little bit of everything, but it is really what made me a great leader. So if you are interested in managing people one day, being a generalist is a good thing, right? When I was early in my career, I thought, well, no, I have to be really good at ads, or I have to be really good at social media, or I have to be really good at email marketing. You don't. You could be sort of good at everything and know it enough to play the game and then be a really great leader. So that's something to keep in mind if someone is interested in managing a team.
Yeah, that's really great advice too. Yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much again.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And for all of our listeners out there, check us out next week on Pathmonk Presents.